is Trunk Nation.
I love this new program. It's awesome. I listen to you every day.
With Eddie Trunk.
Sirius XM Volume.
Hey, welcome back. It's Eddie Trunk, and this is Trunk Nation, where we talk rock every day, live 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Replay every night, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, and full shows and interviews on demand anytime you want on the Sirius XM app. Hope you guys are having a great day. Had a lot of fun there in that first hour. We'll get back to some more of your calls in just a little bit, but we're going to take a break from them right now to speak with the former lead singer and original lead singer of the band Enough's Enough, who has released a new album called Beautiful Things. It's Donnie V, and he joins us right now live on Trunk Nation. Donnie, how are you, man?
Oh, nice try, Narc. This ain't Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk wouldn't be calling a buffoon like me. No,
I am calling you. How are you, Donnie? What's going on, man?
Good for my age, brother. Thank you. Good for my age. Thank you for thinking of me. That's great.
Well, of course, I was hearing for a while, and I think you reached out or somebody reached out a while ago when this record was sort of in production, and you were making it about coming on and talking a little bit about it. And I said, well, when the record is done, let's absolutely do that. And then I got a copy of the record a week or two ago. I really, really enjoyed it, and figured it'd be a good time to have you on to discuss how it all came together. The album is called Beautiful Things. It's out now. And when did you start working on this, Donnie?
Right when I got finished getting healthy and clean and getting rid of my hepatitis C and all, everything, motorcycle accidents stuff. I took a few years off after Enough's Enough. Chip fired me. But
let's actually, before we jump in all that, then let's address some of that stuff. So you've had your demons and your issues. Where do you stand with all that now? You're sober now?
Yeah, I'm totally. Been for coming on like 4 or 5 years now.
Well,
I don't go
man.
to the meetings. I don't go to the meetings because all I do is play Angry Birds and watch the clock and listen to people whine. But I found my own way. That was the only way it was ever going to happen. Is to just be tired of that life and the darkness and all of the ugliness and loneliness of it. And it was to the point of where I was praying to die and I was running out of stuff and the song ideas, which I never have done before. It was like my soul was left my body and I was walking around dead. And so it was time to make a change. And I didn't write anything for a long time. The ideas weren't coming. And then once I was, ready again, I was questioning, is this going to still happen? Is this going to, is this what I'm still going to do? Or is it going to be a hamburger stand? And the first song was a song called I Could Save the World, popped into my head. And I finished that one. And the next one was another song on the record. And then the third one was, and I was like, we're back in business. Right on. It's like you beat your wife and she left you, but then slowly comes back like apprehensively, like she's afraid you're going to beat her again. I'll be like, I'll never hurt you again, soul. Thank you for coming back to my body, And so everything's positive now. I'm not trying to bite off more than I could chew. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the mountain of shit that you got to climb.
No, it's okay. You can say that. It's fine.
I just look at one day at a time, little bites at a time, and try to do the best I can to the potential and do the songs justice, do the fans justice, do myself justice, and stop being what I was, which was an idiot. What I was doing to myself was ridiculous.
And what was that? I mean, what were your vices? What was your biggest thing that you had a battle with?
Whatever you got, whatever you have to come on the bus with, whatever's in your pocket. What you got? Yeah, I do that. Except the acid. I don't like acid. It lasts too long, and I can't. And I get mine unwinds like a watch spring. I think the moon's winking at me and shit. I think the moon's just winking. I gotta call Grandpa and tell him. It's crazy stuff, but I don't like acid.
you were able to kick you on your own. Essentially, you were able to kick everything.
Well, it was that or give up. It's just. I mean, that's obvious. I wasn't going to die because I woke up in morgues before. I've drowned. Just this year, my pancreas liquefied on me, and I was in the hospital. And the doctor told me I was going to die. He said, "You got a 15% chance of living." I said, "You want you to get the hell out of my room where you have 15% chance?" I said, "I'm a tank, dude. I lived through everything. I knew I felt it that I was going to live through it, and I was already in a positive place at that point, So I knew I was going to make it. I'm not here to just die in some hospital and starve to death after everything I've been through and all the songs I've written. It's like hindsight is insight." And somewhere along the line, you get to a point where you can look back and say, well, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't be able to do this or this and that. And I'd have been dead if, we had made any substantial amount of money. I'd be dead. No way.
Because with all that money, you would have had the ability to have every excess you wanted, and that would have really done you in.
I'd snort a town.
I don't mean.
Huh?
No, but I don't mean to laugh, but that actually is a really kind of interesting way to look at what you've been through, because in a sick sort of way, we've been having a conversation, Donnie, the last day or so on my show, including today, where listeners have been calling in and saying the name of a band that they loved that they felt should have gotten much bigger and been huge and didn't quite get there. And I said, with you coming on today, Enough's Enough is a band a lot of people put in that category. Coming off the first record, they were going to be one of the biggest bands of all time. In a sick sort of way, it sounds like if that would have happened, I wouldn't be talking to you today.
Absolutely not, and I'm not ashamed of anything I've ever done, because it's your story. It's like we're a DVD, we live that life, and everything, you make a left here, you make a right there, you don't get to where you're going. And I wouldn't have made the record I made today. I wouldn't be alive today. I wouldn't be, with my family and everything still. And, my uncle killed himself this week though, but that's sad. It's another conversation, but it's like, I'm not ashamed of anything. I've always told the truth. You can ask me anything. And it's just, it's your story. I guess it's what you had to go through. And in the Enough's Enough days, as sad as I was and as lonely and miserable as I was, there was always these, fans never failed to reach out to me and tell me how, I couldn't have got through this. You saved, like a couple of them, you literally saved my life. And in a human life, your career, as bad as it could be, is worth a human life. You know what I mean? That's the payoff there. And so that's what got me through those days. And now, and I had to do it through a negative way, because I'm reaching out from my pain and my suffering. I figured there's no hope for me. Maybe I can hit somebody else with this shit. And
why were you always, you just described yourself as being sad and lonely during Enough's Enough. Were you always like that, or early on was it different?
Well, I was very young when this all came to be, Enough's Enough and everything, and took off. But yeah, I had a really bad childhood, and it was, abusive and, all the stuff. But, I had a lot of unresolved issues, and I found out, as I was doing the self-improvement and stuff, I'm seeing therapists and stuff. I find out that I'm manic depressive, bipolar. I'm functioning autism, ADHD. I mean, all this shit. It's like, wow, I should have known this. I just thought I was a big asshole, and everybody else did too, And I was medicating because that gave me the confidence. I was a very shy, insecure kid, and now I go into center stage and sing on a mic with Chips Enough next to me and these other pros, and I had to fast track to something, and some of that stuff gave me the confidence to do it. But then all of a sudden what you do takes a big back seat to the partying and stuff like that. And, and I was very frustrated most of the career about I wasn't sticking to my instincts. I didn't envision myself in a band quite like that. Of course, I'm not to take anything away from the band. It was great. It was, four brilliant fucking, excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, you can swear. It's fine. It's satellite radio. You can swear. It's no problem.
I had four guys that, amazing talents, and I like to include myself in that because I was the writer and the singer, and I think I did that well. And, I was a baby though. I was like, you could tell us by looking at me as a little kid. And, those are just my first songs I ever wrote. So, I continued to keep evolving, but I didn't feel like I could do that, for a long time. And desperation, you have to stick to certain things or you have less than you had now, and you don't step off of a ride when it's going 1,000 miles an hour, to go back to the garage and stuff. So, working with the big labels, there's a whole other incentive that you don't have when you're independent, which is independent. You might not make any money and people don't know who you are. It's smaller, but you're actually being an artist again. You're doing what you do for the reasons that you do it. And if you stop looking at all the money and the fame and getting all these girls and this and that, then you get back to the basics of what struck you about it in the first place. What made you want to do this? What made you want to write songs and stuff? And that's kind of where I'm back at. And took a while, and I don't take anything. Don't have my name on the bottle now.
It sounds
or the name of anybody else on the bottle.
Right. Well, I'm really happy for you that you've turned that corner, and it sounds like, as from what you were saying earlier, that the real jolt to you, beyond all the issues you've had and all the substances you've been hooked on or whatever's gone on, the thing that really snapped you out of it was when you woke up one day with the inability to write. Like you said that once you lost that, where no songs were coming to you, that's when you really said, okay, it's time to make a change. That was the real catalyst, right?
Well, actually, and I spoke to a bunch of other artists about this, that I respected, and they say the same thing. We're like, we get these ideas, these really cool ideas. They beam into our heads from somewhere. We're like an antenna,